On a cold October night in Walsall, the lights at Bescot station flickered over empty platforms and silent rails. It was just after 11 p.m, the hour when the town exhales, the streets go still, and night shift workers finally clock off. Beat. One of them was Rhiannon Whyte, 27 years old, mother of a 5-year-old boy, and a night receptionist at the Park Inn Hotel, a place converted to house asylum seekers. She'd just finished a long shift. A cup of coffee gone cold on her desk. A friendly wave to the security guard. A quick phone call to her best friend for company on the short walk to the station. 90 seconds. That's how far the hotel was from the platform. Beat. She never made it home. When paramedics arrived minutes later, the platform was chaos lit in blue. A young woman lay gravely injured, her phone was missing, a trail of confusion hung in the cold. Witnesses had heard nothing but 3 terrified screams. Within hours, detectives from West Midlands Police were pulling CCTV footage from the hotel and nearby streets. Frame by frame, a shadow began to appear. A man walking just behind her, hood up, hands buried deep in his pockets, face hidden. That man was Deng Chol Majek, a Sudanese national who claimed to be 19 but carried no documents, no ID, and no past the British authorities could verify. Majek had arrived in Britain barely 3 months earlier. Investigators would later confirm he crossed the channel in a small boat, the same day anti-immigration riots erupted in Southport. He was housed at the Park Inn Hotel under the asylum program. To most staff he was a quiet, solitary figure, polite enough, but detached. One housing officer remembered him mostly for smoking in his room and arguing when asked to stop. Another staffer said he kept to himself, always watching. None of them imagined that quietness could hide a storm. Rhiannon's family would later describe her as the light in any room. She grew up in Leamington Spa, the middle of 3 sisters, and was known for her humor, her blue-dyed hair, and her determination to do good. Her sister Alex said she loved working with people at the hotel because it felt meaningful, helping those who had nowhere else to go. Rhiannon just wanted to make people feel safe, Alex told reporters. That was the cruel irony. She'd been killed outside a building dedicated to shelter. Channel boat migrant arrested in connection with Walsall murder. Mother of one attacked on the way home from work. Police appeal for witnesses. By dawn, the story was national. The images were everywhere: Rhiannon's bright smile, her son's photo, and a headline that left Britain divided once again over immigration, safety, and trust. Inside the Park Inn, detectives sealed off corridors, searching rooms. They needed answers fast. And one door drew their attention: room 214. At 5:06 a.m., officers entered. Inside was Majek. Calm. Expressionless. He didn't run, didn't protest. His jacket and trousers were drying near a radiator. Evidence technicians collected them carefully. Forensic testing later revealed traces of Rhiannon's blood. Still, Majek said nothing meaningful, only that he didn't understand English. He asked for an interpreter, but staff at the hotel told investigators something different. They'd spoken to him in English every day. He understood perfectly well. That contradiction was the first crack in the story he would try to build. Rhiannon fought for her life for 3 days in hospital. Her family waited through each night hoping for a miracle that never came. On October 23rd she died, surrounded by loved ones. Her mother, Siobhan, later said, "The worst part isn't just losing her. It's explaining to her son why she isn't coming back." The words hit a nation already weary of violence, already arguing over borders and belonging. Now there was a face, a name, a child left behind. Detective Inspector Clark led the inquiry. He described it later as an attack without reason or warning. No robbery. No previous dispute. Nothing that made sense. The evidence trail, however, made everything clear. CCTV showed Majek leaving the hotel moments after Rhiannon. The time gap, 90 seconds. He followed her across the car park and over the bridge to the station. Minutes later, he returned by the same route, hands empty. Then came footage from a nearby shop, Majek buying 3 cans of strong beer. No sign of panic. No blood visible to the camera. Just calm. That calm would haunt investigators more than anything else. When officers interviewed Majek, he insisted the footage wasn't him. "This is not me," he repeated through the interpreter. Even when shown stills from the hotel minutes earlier, same clothes, same posture, he denied it. He claimed his jacket had no blood on it, that the forensic scientists were lying, that he had never even noticed the woman everyone said he stared at for hours from the lobby. To the prosecution, it was absurd. To the detectives, it was chilling. In July 2025, the case went before Wolverhampton Crown Court. The public gallery was packed, journalists, family, locals from Walsall who wanted to see justice done. The prosecution laid out the timeline, the CCTV, the forensic matches. Majek's defense argued he was young, confused, traumatized by war. But the inconsistencies were impossible to ignore. At one pre-trial hearing, he forgot his own story, telling jurors he fled Sudan because a soldier wanted him to marry his sister. Moments later he switched to claiming he escaped war. And when the interpreter in Sudanese Arabic wasn't available, prosecutor Michelle Healy KC offered to translate into German, only for Majek to answer, "Nein, no, only English." Laughter rippled uneasily through the courtroom. The mask had slipped. Rhiannon's family sat through every minute. They watched the CCTV one more time, her last moments replayed in grainy frames. Her sister Alex said afterward, "You can't unsee that. But we had to. We owed her the truth." The jury took just over 2 hours. When the foreman stood, the room froze. Guilty. Unanimous. No outburst from the dock. No emotion. Just stillness, the kind that feels colder than anger. Across Britain, the verdict ignited debate. How could someone arrive undetected, unverified, and kill within months of entering the country? Were background checks enough? Could this have been prevented? Officials promised reviews. Commentators argued. But for Siobhan and Alex Whyte, the noise meant nothing. Their world had already stopped turning. Rhiannon's funeral filled the small church in Leamington Spa. Friends brought flowers in her favorite color, blue. Her son sat with his grandmother, clutching a photo of his mother smiling in the sun. Outside, a banner read, "She always saw the good in everyone." Maybe that's what hurts most. The kind-hearted rarely see the danger coming. Detectives now had their suspect, but they needed proof solid enough to survive a courtroom. The first step was to rebuild the night minute by minute. Every camera between the Park Inn and Bescot station was checked. 9 feeds, 90 seconds apart. And in all of them, one figure, hooded, slim, silent, walked the same route Rhiannon had taken. Technicians logged every frame, matching the stride, the clothes, the timing. When the data came together, the pattern was perfect. The man in the hallway. The man on the bridge. The man who returned to the hotel with empty hands. They were one and the same. At headquarters, forensic officers spread evidence across steel tables, a parka, combat trousers, sandals. Tests found microscopic traces of Rhiannon's DNA. Under the suspect's fingernails, more of the same. No motive, but no doubt. When questioned again, Majek claimed the scientists were lying, that the stains were paint from hotel repairs. Investigators knew the story would collapse in court. They also discovered something else, an earlier police caution in Germany for vandalism while drunk. He had already claimed asylum there. Yet he'd crossed the channel and applied again under a new name. A loophole that would later spark outrage in Parliament. While detectives built the case, Rhiannon's community tried to understand the loss. At the station, commuters left flowers. At the hotel, her colleagues raised funds for her son. £8,000 in the first week. Messages flooded social media. She made everyone feel safe. Her family stayed quiet through the noise. Grief doesn't trend, it lingers. By the time the trial opened in summer 2025, the evidence files filled 30 boxes. The prosecution's strategy was simple: show the truth frame by frame. When the courtroom lights dimmed and the CCTV began, the jury watched silence unfold, Rhiannon leaving the hotel. Majek following. Then darkness at the platform. It lasted less than 2 minutes. When the lights came back up, the gallery was in tears. Majek's defense offered no clear reason, only confusion. He claimed trauma, youth, fear. But each witness pushed back. Hotel staff testified that he spoke English daily. The interpreter issue, the German slip, each one cracked his credibility. 2 hours. That's all the jury needed. Guilty of murder. Guilty of possessing an offensive weapon. When the verdict was read, Majek didn't flinch. No apology. No explanation. Just the same empty stare caught on every camera. Outside court, prosecutor Carla Harris faced the microphones. Rhiannon Whyte should have been able to go to work and come home safely. He attacked her for no reason and then rejoiced in his actions. For Rhiannon's mother Siobhan, the verdict was justice, but not peace. The year since her death has been hell on earth, she said. The worst part is seeing her little boy grow up without her. The community echoed her words. Vigils were held in Walsall and Leamington Spa. People lit candles and played recordings of Rhiannon's favourite songs. The case left deeper questions hanging over Britain's asylum system. How do you track someone with no documents and a shifting story? How do you balance compassion with security? Officials promised reviews. But in Walsall, at the small platform under the bridge, one plaque now says everything, in memory of Rhiannon Whyte, 1997 to 2024, forever loved. Sometimes a crime isn't about motive or madness. Sometimes it's about a single decision in a single minute that changes every life around it. 90 seconds. That's all it took. Summer 2025. Wolverhampton Crown Court. Every seat in the public gallery is filled, reporters, friends, family. 11 months after the night at Bescot Station, the story is finally reaching its last chapter. The prosecution begins with the footage everyone has already seen in headlines, Rhiannon leaving the hotel. Majek stepped out behind her. The bridge. The return. No commentary. Just silence and timestamps. Then the forensics. DNA matches on jacket, trousers, jewelry. The defendant's fingerprints on objects collected from his room. Each slide projected on the courtroom screen, each point building an unbreakable chain. When it's his turn to speak, Majek repeats the same claim, "This is not me." He insists he doesn't speak English. But moments later, he answers a question before the interpreter finishes translating. Gasps ripple through the room. The mask slips again. After 2 hours of deliberation, the jury returns. Unanimous. Guilty. The word hangs in the air, heavy but final. Outside, rain begins to fall on the courthouse steps. Reporters shout questions. The family walks past in silence. For the Whyte family, justice feels thin. Rhiannon is still gone, her 5-year-old still asking questions no child should have to ask. Her mother Siobhan calls it a year of hell on earth. Her sister Alex focuses on keeping the memory alive, charity drives, vigils, community outreach in Rhiannon's name. A fundraiser created for her son passes £8,000. Messages arrive from strangers across Britain, she deserved better. We stand with you. The case reverberates beyond Walsall. Politicians debate background checks and cross-border asylum claims. Editorials call for new oversight on temporary housing hotels. But none of that rewrites the 90 seconds that changed everything. Detectives who worked the case say it will stay with them forever. Completely unprovoked, one officer says. No warning signs, no logic. Just cruelty. At the station, a small plaque now gleams under the lamplight. In memory of Rhiannon Whyte, forever loved. Commuters stop, some whisper a quick prayer, others place a single flower. Her family says she would have liked that, quiet kindness from people she never met. This story is not just about crime. It's about how fragile an ordinary life can be, how one routine walk, one moment of trust, can vanish into tragedy. Rhiannon Whyte believed in helping others. She worked nights so others could rest safe. And even in death, she's reminded an entire country why compassion and vigilance must exist together. 90 seconds. That's all it took to steal a future, and to leave a community asking how such darkness could walk so quietly beside the light.